Hey everybody. Pull everything up here. And I decided to make a little winter project. Pretty much, I'll explain why I'm doing it. And maybe my parents are watching this. Because that's who I'm making it for. Wait, let's see here. Ooh, page.
Hey everybody.
And pull this up. Okay. So, I have all my little wooden pieces here. And I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use completely. I'm going to use these two. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and give Facebook enough time to go ahead and send out the notices. And then see if anybody hops on before I go ahead and start. I don't spill that. I hear you, Luce. I have no idea why she's crying tonight. She can go in and out all she wants. She's just whining for, I have no reason. No reason. Okay. So, let's see. So the weird thing is that I got my first COVID shot on Friday and I was pretty much exhausted and out of it for most of the weekend until yesterday. I thought I was okay, and then I took like 2 naps Saturday and then Sunday, and made myself stay awake last night. But it's weird because like my sense of smell is better than ever. I don't know if that's like a side effect of the vaccine or not. It's just weird. Hey, go ahead and say hi, anybody that stops in, and make sure that it's still going. So the project, there's a couple things I'm just working on different projects, but my dad tends to leave stuff all over the table, all over the kitchen table, and it drives my mom crazy. And I got him these 2 really big Lazy Susans that are like deep like this. One of them is like this big around, the other one's like this big around. And he, of course, he fills them up, but she at least has handles on it so she can take it up and move it. However, on one side of him, he's got, they have a big, huge picture window in their dining room, and he likes to put all his stuff out there. So he just has everything like right at his fingertips. And so I'm gonna try to make a couple of little boxes so that she can store things in them, and they'll look decorative on that window shelf so that it won't look so bad. We'll see how they like it. So that's kind of the idea. So I've got these from the Dollar Tree. So I've got 2 different ones, and I'm gonna put looks like a little fence post on one side, and then I'll be able to decorate it up. So that way the part facing in, and if she wants, I'll do both sides. So the part facing out the window and the part facing in the window. It's the part facing in the window that's probably the worst part, for when she has people over and she just can't stand it. Let me hit this one more time. I can see that. And down here. Alright, so let me turn my hot glue gun on because I'm definitely going to need that. I actually ordered these off Amazon, and I got these at Dollar Tree. So, but I thought these ones were cute too because they're not as big as the ones from Dollar Tree. They're smaller, but so these ones, I mean, they look like tongue depressors. I'm going to use these for support on the back, and I've seen people make boxes out of like just these. But I thought these would be cute, like little fence post type things, to do a whole row of them across there. What do you guys think? So they go like this, and then that'll shade anything that's, so like ideally, I could even have a soda can in there. No one's gonna be able to see it. Same thing with this one. So there'll be actually 2 boxes, but they're gonna look the same more or less because they're gonna have these on the outside, so you're not really gonna be able to tell what's behind them. And I would love to be able to put like some floral foam in there, kind of like I did with the birdhouses behind me. You can see those here. So I did floral foam and stuck birdhouses in. I'm sure she'd rather that I did that if she can get my father to declutter his area. I don't know that she's going to be successful in doing that, but if so, this should be able to help. Okay, so I'm just going to take out a pile of these. So I have noticed that Amazon has some pretty good deals when it comes to the little wood items. I mean, they're thin. They're just, these might be a little bit thicker than these ones. But I'm going to use this as a brace behind if needed, if the box itself is not enough. So let me set these over here. I got my hot glue gun heating up. So I just grabbed out a whole bunch of different little things. I'm going to actually paint them white. And then I can actually stain them or do anything else with it. After the fact. And I love the Waverly chalk paste. Whoa. I just want to work that a little bit. All right. Let me grab a white. Just so I don't stick everything else in there. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is start to paint these. More or less, I'm going to focus on the one side. That's the side that I'm going to end up gluing the sticks on. So if you wanted to use these for decorations, you can get these at the dollar store. There's all different sizes. There's one that's even smaller than this. So this is a bigger one. You can get ones that are like a little bit smaller too. All different kinds that they have. Most Dollar Trees that I've been in have at least a couple of them in stock. They seem to really be expanding their craft section. Although I do see some people post that some have like huge sections in there. Ours isn't that well, but maybe if we keep buying the craft supplies in there, they will start stocking our Dollar Tree up with more stuff. Our Dollar General, actually, I have one across the street from me. It has been stocking more craft stuff, and some of the things I've gotten that I've redone were those little, for those who saw that I redid the little Mother's Day, little tripod stands. I redid those, and then I'll show you right here. I have another thing to redo because they were only $1. So even though it's Dollar General, you can still get quite a few stuff in there for $1 or less, especially if it's on clearance. Make sure I get this all nice. I'm just doing a quick on this one because I'm going to let it dry quickly and then start putting the wood on. And I'll paint the wood after I put it on. I'm not going to paint it before. If anybody has any questions or pops in, let me know. And so one of the other things I got at Dollar General was pretty easy to get. It was just $1. So it was this with a little sign on it, and I actually put the screwdriver in there and just popped this part off so that I could use this or sand this down and paint it to do a different design. So I have all of my little sassy kitchen sayings, so I haven't decided which one to put on there yet. This one is my favorite though, the what the fork one. It's just fun, but there's like life is short, like the bowl baker's gonna bake. It's getting hot in here. Chop it like it's hot. Just eat it. You know, just little, they call them sassy kitchen sayings. They're just fun, but I could easily put those on quickly, and it changes the whole look of it. And I figured a little rolling pin would look great in a kitchen, and it's only $1, and I already have all the supplies to change the way it looks, so it's not really costing me anything to play with it and experiment. I always do the inside of the handles, I'm not sure why. Alright, so this front part is pretty much almost dry. So I'm going to set that there to finish drying, and I will just paint one side of this one so I can get these sticks on it. Alright, I think I probably need to put a paper towel underneath there. seem to be a little bit extra messy tonight. I'm not quite sure why. It's been a weird day. It's one of those days where you have a whole plan of what you're going to do at work, and then because the day before didn't go as planned, you ended up having lots of emergencies, and then today ended up just one thing after another was not working, and computer programs weren't cooperating. It was fun. So I do like to do this because then it just takes my mind off it, or I can complain while I'm doing it, whether anybody's out there or not. So, but I know sometimes like if I don't have time to watch somebody's live video, I will go back and watch it afterwards, in which case if you're out there, you can just hit like or just say that you saw it on the replay if you liked, or if you have any ideas or suggestions to the crafts, because I know a lot of times I'll watch things and I'll just suggest stuff to other people. I'm like, oh, it would look good if you added this or that, or just seeing them do things give me an idea of different things that I could do. It could be a variation of what they're doing, or just might think of what I have in stock. Right. So I just painted the one side that I want to get going on. This one is this does dry fairly quickly. This side's, you can pretty much tell by looking at it. Alright, close up. The chalk paint I use is the Waverly chalk paint. I bought a big one of white, but usually I get little ones like this. This is just like the pink slipper one. You get these like a little over $1 at Walmart. I find the chalk paint to work better than the acrylic, because the acrylic, especially on wood, just, you can see the wood underneath it, so it depends. If you want to be able to see the wood, then go ahead. But if you don't want to see the wood, then you're going to want to use something that's thicker, and it's just thicker and it goes on a better coat. You can also do the chalk paste. You can also paint with that. Got a little clump of paint there. Make sure I get anything that fell on the inside. Alright, so we will do this one first. Get all the paint off my hands. And hi. I can usually see people out there, but I honestly have no idea who they are because there's no way for me to know. It just shows as a number if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever people out there. So like if you see the live up in the little corner, actually this corner up here, let's see, yeah, this corner right here, where my mouse is. If you see the little live red square there, that means that I am live. If it doesn't say live, then I'm not. You're catching a replay. But there's like a little eyeball next to it, and that just tells how many people are watching at any point in time. I think you have to be watching for like 3 minutes before it'll even show you as a number on there. I'm still learning about all the algorithms that they do. Where did this go? Sure. Okay, seems like my hot glue gun is ready. So, I'm trying to think the best way to do this. I want it to be as even as possible. It's not completely dry everywhere. Alright, so let's see how far we have the cord to go. Hopefully it doesn't knock my way out. And it came out. So, has anybody else noticed that the glue gun cords wicked short? I have no idea why. So hopefully, yeah, it's still hot. It's still hot, so it's still good. Ooh, I'm almost standing right on there. All right. So, right. Well, I'm just going to go like this and start putting them on. I'm going to start on one end. Hopefully it works out well with starting on one end. And I'm just adding a little hot glue to the back of the stick. Probably added too much. This wood is thicker, so I can feel the heat from the glue on it, but just rub them back and forth. Hopefully they like this. You know, this glue stick on this one is getting close to the end, so try to put these right next to each other. So as you can see, this is what they're starting to look like. Ideally, go all the way across this one and go across all the way across the other one. And, ooh, I'm getting the glue sticks here. I'm always afraid to burn myself with a glue stick. Not quite sure why, but. Get in there. That and the lovely little strings that come along with using the glue stick. Surprised after all these years they haven't improved it too much. Although I did see that there is one that you can get without a cord. So maybe I'll try that. If you do drop hot glue on anything, the sooner you get it off, the better. See, it does hold things together really well. So, hopefully. See how it goes if I directly apply it right onto the box. Hey everyone! So for those who missed the beginning part, the reason I'm making these is my father likes to clutter up my mom's dining room table with all of his miscellaneous stuff. Could be stuff from the garage, could be anything. So I'm trying to make some boxes that she can stick on the windowsill where he tends to shove things to see if they'll like this. And eventually, if she can get him to clean up his stuff, which I don't know that that's going to be possible, then we'll be able to put some like floral foam in this with some fake flowers. And I can actually do that tonight to show you what it would look like. Because that's likely how I'm going to give them to her, but explain that, you know, it's really just to hide Dad's stuff. He's always kept stuff on the table, but his mom did the same thing. My grandmother did the same exact thing. Whether it's mail at the end of the table or, I don't know, coffee, I don't know, medicine, whatever they're using at the time. Keys. Anything that they need to have right at the ready or may want to use at the ready, even if it doesn't get used for months. It's sitting on his shelf. Right. Ooh. It's on there. I'm not sure if I should have used any of the, a lot of times people will use the E6000 glue. Okay, come on. Oops. I accidentally clicked it off. I My hand hit the button. Still pretty hot. I'm gonna get the new stick going. All my little glue strings. So I'm kind of debating on whether or not I should use any of the E6000 on the smaller box. Because I am able to get quite a bit of glue on this one for the fencing. See my little strings from the glue. All right, so far so good. So this could be, see, we had something like, actually can fit 2 soda cans in here. So. Not that it'd be soda cans, but thinking medicine bottles, pens, watch, wallet, can shove all that in there. Okay. So this one, I've got my E6000. I'm wondering, because this is only like, I don't know if it's like half the size height of that one. So that one I could really get quite a bit of glue on. I guess I'll use the hot glue to put it on this one. And it's about the same length. So I think I'll use the hot glue to put this one on. And then if for some reason it looks like they're loose, I can always add a little bit of the E6000 glue behind it to hold it. It's just a decorative piece, so it's not like it's holding or going to have a lot of weight or anything on it. And I can always brace the part behind it with one of these sticks as well, in case it seems like it's a little loose once it starts to dry. Oh. Get on there. So the difference between the E6000 and the super glue. E6000 takes a good 24 hours to bond. At least 24 hours. It says 72 hours, but it says you want to leave it at least 72 hours or at least 24 hours before it like makes a really good hold. So you don't want to do too much adjusting on it. The idea of putting them both on is that the hot glue will hold it. Ideally, the hot glue will hold it a quick bond because it dries pretty quickly, cools off. Whereas this doesn't need to cool off because it's not heated up. So, do kind of like a combination of both of them. Hear it coming through. It's a little break between the 2 glue sticks. Oh, come on. Hey everyone. Like the fun I'm having with the glue stick. Now that I put the other glue on it, the glue stick does not want to cooperate. It is still on. No, it's not. It yanks the cord out because it's such a small cord. It is still hot. Alright, so I'll try this again before that one part dries. It needs to heat up again because I didn't realize it was cooling off. use a little E6000 here. If you've never tried E6000, just in case you may not have, I didn't until recently. Until I saw everybody using it, I'm like, what are you using and why are you doing that? Okay, now I have a hard piece of hot glue under there. So as you can see, this one is sliding around because it doesn't have any hot glue underneath it. Hey everybody, feel free to say hi when you're on. When my hot glue gun is heating back up, it's starting to. Better. I can tell I'm gonna need to redo the end one because it just keeps popping up. The hot glue started to dry, but it wasn't adhered completely to that at the time. I'm probably gonna need to redo the second one too, because I didn't put any hot glue under this one at all. Yeah. There, my hot glue gun works much better when it's plugged in. Isn't it great how that works? Plug it in and it works better. Hey everyone, feel free to say hi. If you can see the stuff behind me, that's like the part of the couture stuff that I do too. I'll actually probably end up like putting a design on this afterwards. We'll see how that goes. So that one I use just hot glue. This one I've been using because it's not as tall as a box, so I'm putting a little E6000 on it as well. But what I was saying with the E6000, before I interrupted myself with the hot glue gun that was no longer plugged in, is if you wanted to try it, just to see how well it works, you can get like a pack of this, like 5-pack or so, for $1 or $2, I think. I can't remember where I got it. So it was either Dollar Tree, Dollar General. I think it was Dollar General that I got that one at. Oh, I love it when the glue gun starts cooperating. So I'm almost done with this. We have to grab a couple extra ones out to hold them. And the nice thing I do like about this, I could have spaced these further apart, but the idea of this box is to hide the stuff that's behind it. So hopefully it will be successful in doing that. Ooh. Ah! Aw. Squeezed the glue a little too much that time. No. I'm trying to squeeze this one on here. And just, oh, it was one short, so I'm just gonna grab one more out of the box. Put on here, get all my little glue strings. And because this is gonna be hanging off the edge this one a little bit, I'm gonna make sure I have some E6000 on it. Because if this were to get knocked off the shelf or something, it's the end pieces that are most likely gonna fall off or try to get knocked off. If you hear engines racing and stuff. That's just my neighbor. Usually it's my neighbor. Used to be me when I had my nice truck. And my friend's husband has now, which is pretty cool because now my truck goes and fights. Ow, oh, that was hot. Get over here, baby. So now my truck is in the hands of a firefighter, so it gets to go fight fires, which is pretty cool. So it's in good hands. Alright, so far, this just looks like it needs like a little something extra across here. What do you guys think? Something a little extra. Other than a design. And ideally, these are two different boxes, as you can see. One's a thin, wider one, but these are both going to both fit on the shelf. And they'll be able to pretty much sit right next to each other. Side by side, so you're not even going to be able to tell that they're two different shelves. And am I going to need my hot glue gun anymore tonight? Oh, I'll turn it off for now. And set it over here so I don't have to drop hot glue on myself again. Right. So, be sure to say hi or like or anything when you're on. Okay. So I'm just going to do the fence post white for now. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick out a design to put on them. Hopefully I won't need that E6000 again. So I'm just going to use the rest of the white chalk paint that I had out. And I'll do the first one that I had first. You can see I still got some strings on it from my hot glue, but do you guys think I should add anything to it? Anything across the front? Like that's too wide, but I do have some popsicle sticks that are smaller that could make it, I don't know, because I know we usually cross the fence, but I would have left a gap between them, but I really want to be able to hide what's behind in the boxes behind them. Anybody have any questions or anything? Let me know. Well, I'm just painting these. Make sure I get the top of the fence posts. Just trying to make sure I focus on the areas that you're going to be able to see when it's sitting on the shelf. I can touch up the other areas with white afterwards if I want. And then again, once I show her this, she may say, can you please put them on the other side too, so that when you look outside, from people looking outside in, they will see this is what they'll see instead of a whole bunch of a bunch of junk in a box. Fence posts on the ends a little crooked, but that's fine because fence posts are not perfect. It's the imperfect part of it that makes it look good. Alright, so there's one. So we've got the white and the plain painted. But I can always use some of the antique wax on it afterwards to kind of highlight the lines in between the fence posts again on the white so that it stands out more. Hey everybody, don't forget to hit like or say hi. I'm making two, I see people popping in and out, so it's just making craft boxes, and then I'm going to redo one of the rolling pins, or it's like it's not really like a rolling pin, it's like a flat rolling pin from Dollar General. These are the boxes from Dollar Tree. the idea of putting the fence post on is that for people who collect things or have husbands that collect things and like to leave them all over your dining room table or windowsills, this ideally is what's going to hide it. So you can put everything in the boxes and they can just pick the box up and pull it over without everybody that comes into your house seeing it once we can all go in each other's houses again. Okay. So I'm just hitting the top, make sure I can hit all the areas that can be seen. And then Mom, if you're watching, because I'm making this to hide the stuff that my father puts all over her. Or there. Front picture window. So this will be able to throw stuff in there, and then it won't be falling off. It's got the little handles in there, so if he needs to run through his phone charging cord, because he likes to keep that right next to him. So it's always right there at the ready. Then I got him like an air purifier machine stuff. It helps with the COPD. Alright. So far, I can always see it's pretty much dry. So what do you guys think? Two little fences next to each other. Set that one on top of that one. Alright. I don't know why I try to keep my craft mat clean, but I don't know. It's much easier to clean up the chalk stuff than it is paint. Than the chalk paint. Chalk paste instead of chalk paint. Ink stuff, even the ink stuff from Chalkology is pretty easy to clean up. This is the one I got from Dollar General for $1. It did take a little effort to get this off of it. You can see it was hot glued on there. So it did take a little bit of an effort to get that off of this. I had to put a flat screwdriver in there and kind of like wedged it up carefully because it was glued on so super tight. But I know that I can go ahead and go over it, and I'll be able to sand it. And then I actually have two pieces that I can reuse. So I can reuse this on my wreath, and then I can take this one and use one of my Sassy kitchen signs to make it look better. I can even actually put stuff on it. That actually would probably help hide that. Let's see what this one looks like. I put two of them on there. Or three. Actually, I kind of like that. What do you guys think? So, I've just taken 3 of these and put them on top of it. Gives it a little bit more dimension. I'm going to turn my hot glue gun back on. Because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to figure out... I do like the color of it in the background, so I could paint these before I stick these on. Put one of my Sassy Kitchen sayings on there. So this, I'm not sure. Okay. Well, since I've got the white out, I could use the white, or I could use any color really. In my kitchen, I've got pops of orange and green, so I do try to limit my Halloween obsession to the kitchen. So let's see. I have used this orange one before. Oops. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to paint these real quick while these are drying. They're drying pretty quickly, thankfully. Shouldn't need any more of these. I shouldn't need to put one of these on the back of there. I'm just going to add a little bit of orange to this. And I'm going to use my white brush too. So with this, you can either put on it's pretty easy to, because it's thick, to just like put your brush up to it and do it that way. Getting all over my fingers. Let's see how this The little bit of white that's on the brush is not really doing anything to it because it's just blending it with the orange. This stuff does dry pretty quickly too. Obviously, you can see that from the boxes and the fence that I put on. By the time I get done doing these, that fence post will be dry. And I'll be able to put a little wax on it. I'll put a little wax on it before I do the silk mesh green stencil. It's going to protect the paint that I just put on the wood from being pulled up, and it's also going to protect my stencil from pulling up any splinting the wood. I'm not worrying about painting the back because the back is going to be flat with hot glue on the little rolling pin design. And again, I got the rolling pin design from Dollar Tree. So if you have it, or not Dollar Tree, Dollar General. So if you have a Dollar General, you should be able to go over there. They had a couple different designs that you could choose from. But if you're changing the design on it, you can. And you don't even have to, you don't even have to change the design if you don't want. I mean, you could, I took those apart, but you don't have to. You could keep them the way they are. Right, those are drying. My hands are successfully covered in orange paint. The hot glue gun's heating back up. I knew I shouldn't have turned it off. Alright, so these will dry for the cutting board. And then I'll use, for that I'll use the E6000 and the hot glue. But let me pull this back up. This is the one I did first. And for the most part it's dry. Some areas where it's thicker. Any areas where there's like a little gap in the fence post. A little rough edge. Looks like there's might be a little bit of buildup of paint in different areas. So yeah, I'm just using my fingers to make sure it's all smoothed down. And there is a way with chalk paste that you can do like a little wash on it to make it look like stained. It's like basically take a baby wipe and just put chalk paste on it and rub it with the baby wipe, and it kind of like gives it a stained kind of a look. It's kind of neat. I haven't done that. I've seen it done, but I haven't gotten one where I wanted to do that yet. So alright, that's essentially clean. Let me grab stencils. It's almost completely dry, and I'll figure out which stencil I want to go ahead and put on it. Although it would be kind of funny if I could fit this one on it. This one says this house was clean yesterday. I don't know that it's gonna fit though. So it's that this house was clean yesterday. And then sorry you missed it. Little baseball line. I have so many little transfers. Oh, this was a good one. The best family ever. The love brings us home. There's also the feels like home, which has got the little chicken on it. And so I do have a bunch of these transfers if anybody wants to make any of them. So another good one I have is I'm not adulting today, and tomorrow doesn't look good either. Which actually they will fit on there perfectly. Oh, sweet, I didn't even measure it out ahead of time. Okay, let me close up my little fence posts in my little wood bucket. And then add this over here. Hopefully it doesn't fall. I did find that saying don't fall doesn't always work. Alright. So I do like that this house was clean yesterday. I'm going to use that. And there's also the Best Family Ever one. These should be the exact same height. Let's see. Right, so I need my wax. Which is the only one I have here. There it is. So really any kind of furniture wax you can use. You just basically need a paper towel or just any kind of cloth. Take a little wax on it and then just put it on top of the wood or painted surface that you have. There is a stained kind of, like, I think Mini Wax does a stained one where you can, it'll actually like stain the wood for you as it does it. There's like one that has a darker stain. I usually just get the clear, but I am going to try the darker stain. I just haven't gotten it yet. I didn't know that. I just grabbed stain in there, and unfortunately I didn't grab the stained one, but I grabbed the clear one. So, and it really doesn't take long for the wax for you to be able to use it after you wax it. So that one's all nice and waxed. So while that one's sitting, I'm gonna go ahead and just add the wax to this one too. And then the orange ones look like they're pretty close to dry. I can glue those ones on and then start all my other little stencils on them just to make them a little bit different design. Fancy them up a little bit. And then hopefully Mom will see the video and decide, or send her a picture at least, decide if they want me to do fence post on the other side, for the side that's facing out of the window, of their front picture window. I'm just trying to get a nice even coat on it. You can see it's kind of like yellowish when it goes on, but it's wax. It just goes right in. It's not changing the color of the white wood or anything. So that one's done too. Close my wax back up, toss it away, and pretty much give me white ones. Okay, now. Hey everybody, feel free to say hi when you jump in. Oops. Or not. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and these are dry now. The chalk paint does dry fairly quickly. My hot glue gun's ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put these 3 on. Oops. Should stick that okay. 3 pretty much fits perfectly on it. And nice and hot. And make sure I didn't unplug it again. Alright, that's because it's still getting a little stuck in there. Go ahead and put on some E6000 to give it a little extra bond hold for this. Hopefully that works good. For some reason doesn't want to go through. There you go. All right, much better. It's always better when the hot glue gun cooperates. So ideally this will add some dimension to it. One more little piece. Just touching this one piece because it's got some hot glue that has come up, squeezed up between the boards, and I don't want it there. Just using my detail tool to kind of like take off the little excess on the edge. Now you can't even see it. So, what do you guys think? What do you think? Go ahead and my little hot glue over there. I don't think I'm going to need to use the hot glue anymore tonight. I'll turn it off again, and hopefully I'm not going to need to turn it on again. Oh. Let's see what else I've got on here. If there's any questions. Make sure I can still see everything. Try to add one more time to make sure it's going through. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to get the wax back out again. And grab my little cloth here that I threw to the side. And I'm just going to go ahead and wax the little, I don't even know what these are. I mean, they look like tongue depressors, but they're bigger than that. So, get that on there. This is, I mean, the wax actually lasts quite a bit. A little bit goes a long way. I had originally gotten this little jar off, I think, Amazon. Just to try it, because I hadn't tried anything like that with wood and wax and painting it or using the chalk paint or chalk paste. There, I like that better. It does definitely look more of a dimension than the one it came with, and I'll figure out something to do with that. So I'll let that one sit to the side and dry. So all I really have left, ooh, make sure I close up my glue, is to put my little designs on my little window boxes, and then my rolling pin. For a minute there, I drew a blank on what it's called. Let me get that stuff off my hands. So, kind of narrowed it down to a couple of different transfers. Kind of. Be sure to say hi if you pop on or have any suggestions about what I did. This was the one I did the other night, which is holding together with the E6000 glue. It's holding together really well. And I hadn't made one before, but the glass on this is heavy, so it's the glass plate glass from, they're all from the Dollar Tree, so just 3 pieces, and I use the E6000 glue along with the hot glue. And you can see the E6000 glue kind of like dripped on the inside because it's more watery, obviously. So I think next time I do one, I'm going to use the margarita glass because that will look perfect with a margarita glass. I still haven't decided if I'm going to paint it or not. I think I might for my little tier tray. And it is really heavy. So it's going to be nice and sturdy, especially if I end up using it outdoors, which is what I'm thinking of. So I'm trying to think which ones make them smile the most. So I think I'm going to do those two. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do the best family ever, and this house was clean yesterday. Sorry, you missed it. So I've already painted it. I got my wax on there. It's all dry now. Like I said, the little furniture wax and stuff goes on really quick and easy. If you've never used silk screen transfers before, they're stencils that have a mesh lining so that what you put through on them, it's going to hold better. So, grab my little buzzing towel. So it's a wooden surface. I usually fuzz it up a little bit because I want to be able to make sure I can pull the transfer off without pulling up all the stuff that I just painted or having the wood splinter or anything like that. It's a little bit unlevel because of it's because it's a fence post, but hopefully I can do this like this, and then there's a little decorative leaf embellishment I'll put on the edge as well. Right. I'm going to try my best to smooth down the letters. If you haven't used a silkscreen mesh before, it's not a stencil that you can see all the way through. That helps you with ink and paste. It helps it go evenly on. And I'm going to use, ooh, where's my new greens? So, just going to stick with the colors I like. Right, so I'm going to use this. Use the colors I like just in case. This is my new papaya, which I just hadn't opened it yet. I'm going to use my cut in half squeegee just because the letters are small and there's little cracks in between the wood pieces, so I want to make sure. If you do ever get any Chocolate paste, they come with a foam seal. Keep the foam seal in there. It helps preserve the life of it. So it basically that it doesn't dry out. If it ever does start to dry out, you can just add water to it, distilled water or bottled water. Don't use tap water because if it's something that you don't use a lot, depending on what could possibly be in your tap water, it could end up starting to, it could, you know, mold could develop in there. If you haven't used chalk paste before, you just kind of like put it on thick and then you just scrape off the excess. So when you first put it on, you can't read what's underneath it. Then you scrape up the excess and you can read it. And then you just put the excess into another area until you need more and you go back into the jar. And then any excess you have at the end, you just add back to the jar. A little, like with the wax, the chalk paste and ink, a little goes a long way. The ink you don't want to put on if you ever use that really thick, because it's designed to soak in. So if you're doing a t-shirt or something, it will soak in pretty evenly, but if you have a big clump of ink sitting on something for too long, you'll see that that part ends up being a little darker. So you can kind of see what I did. And right, so I'm just going to pull this up try to pull it up pretty evenly. I don't want to pull up anything behind it. Not bad. The difficult part is where the little fence posts break, but it's still easily readable. So there's that part, and then I'm gonna have to wash this off. I'm gonna wash it right away. I'm gonna wash it right away just to make it a little bit easier on myself in the end. So, oh, the silk screen transfers, they are, let me see. they're reusable. So usually they say an average of 10 to 12 times. There's ones I have that I've used well over 20 times. The better care you take of them. Like if I just threw this to the side and didn't clean it until I use it again, which could be a month from now, depending on what I'm doing, it would be harder to clean. You can still get it clean, but it just would be harder. So all you have to do to clean it is just spray it with water. You don't have to use soap or anything, just water. And then just pretty much wipe it clean. You could use an old washcloth or this is Clorox wipe, or any kind of a sponge, like the kind of sponge you'd use for dishes for. I had a lot on there, so what I'm actually doing is you can still kind of see the green in the Best Family Forever. Best Family Ever one. You can still see it, but because when I lift it up, you're going to notice that it is underneath. It's underneath on the towel. So you can kind of read Best Family Ever there. That's because I pushed it through the silk screen to the other side. And this is the sticky side, and then once I clean this side, it's going to more or less become stickier again. If I've used this one probably 7 or 8 times. I do a lot of family history stuff, so it just fits in perfect with what I like. I'm gonna grab it clean. Usually I have like a little eraser sponge, which is, but that's sitting over there somewhere. I wasn't sure that I was going to use any stencils tonight. So that is sitting over there, but it's like the magic eraser. Sometimes, if I know I'm using stencils, I'll have like a little water bucket, and after I use them, I'll just let it sit in the water bucket, because what it will do is it'll sit on the chalk paste and it'll loosen it up. This chalk paste doesn't come up easily, unless you let water sit onto it for a while. So you can actually spray it with water and then just dab it with a paper towel and it won't come up. Then I do like to hold it up to the light to make sure that I got all the silk screen area clear. And I can see the water in the silk screen, which kind of looks like, almost like a little bit of like the Tetris game. So I'll set it upside down to dry. All right, and that's too orangey. And I still have the one little green piece left. And so it's just one of the embellishments, which you can use anywhere. I'm just going to add it to the edge. It'll look cute there. So, underneath there. And so you hear it when I pull out the towel. It sounds, you can hear it pulling up because it's sticky. Right, so I've got this here, and I'm just going to put a little leaf to the side. Maybe 2 leaves. We'll see. And I'm going to grab some green. That'll look nice with the orange green. Right, and this just happens to be some of my older stuff that I haven't used in a while, so I'm just going to stir it up with my little stir stick. And if you have a stir stick, you can always just put stuff on with that. It's already had it on there. And I'm just going to use my squeegee to smooth it around. Once you start playing around with the stencils, you're kind of like walking through everywhere thinking, oh, I could chalk that, or I could ink that. So there's one of my little shelves for my father to hide all his stuff in so he's not annoying Mom with everything he has all over the kitchen table. Okay. So you can see, there's also pastes that are shimmers. Maybe I could use some shimmers with the next one. Shimmers have basically super fine glitter in them so that it makes them shimmer. So they have like a little sparkle to them. Obviously, the smaller the stencil, the easier it is to clean. The sooner you clean it, the easier it is to clean because it's less time that the chalk paste has sat on it. Actually, the ink is even easier to clean up because the ink stays wetter longer than the chalk paste. I'm going to spray this again because it does look still a little orangey. I'll let that sit on there for a minute. It still looks like a little bit of orange through there. Okay, so I've got 2 left to put designs on. So the rolling pin that I redid, and then this other second Ben's post. So the rolling pin, I'm going to do one of the kitchen designs just because it's going to hang in the kitchen. And I want to see which ones are going to fit on it best. So I've got, let's see, running out of room. Alright, so on this one I've got the, with the fork, that one's going to fit, okay. Just in the running. Life is short with the bowl. And that one's would be hard to fit on there. I think this one's gonna be too. Well, Baker's gonna bake could be on it. And those are one side, so those fit. Yeah, that one's too big. Yeah, not chop it. Okay. So it's either with the fork. What do you guys think? What the fork or Baker's gonna bake on the rolling pin? Kind of want to wet the fork because it's gonna hang in my kitchen. And I love this one. I don't know why I can't get enough of it. All right, let's see if this helps clean some of the orange out of the silk screen. Much better. Much better. Okay, so that one's still going. Move this up out of the way. I am still running out of room. I'm gonna fuzz this up. Honestly, I could cut this one down smaller because it really doesn't need that big square. But it's just part of the category that they all came in this side. It was like, actually all 6 of them were in the same set that you cut apart. Oh. Okay. This now has a whole bunch of glitter on the back because there's glitter on the towel from the last time I used it. So I'm going to use a shimmer on this one. I think I'll use my Shimmer Frost. That's basically white glitter. Try to get it centered on here. Hope it's centered. My Shimmer Frost is right here. The Shimmer Frost was sold out for the longest time. Because of course at Christmas everybody wanted it because it looks like snow. So by the time I got it, it was already in the new formula, which was perfect for me. Right. It's got stuff in the lid because I dropped a bunch of the jars earlier when I was moving them around. But that's okay. Always keep the foam lid. The shimmers are really weird. They're such a great texture that, you know, I've used this tons of times, but every time you open it, it looks like that nice, perfect, flat, and smooth. Even though you can tell this was on the lid, so I dropped it within the last day. And it still goes back perfect like that. So this is going to be white shimmer. Or Shimmer Frost is what it's called, but it's white shimmer, white glitter. Putting on thick and taking on thin. And I'm going to need a little bit more. With the chalk paste, you don't have to be afraid to use too much because you just scrape it off and put it back in the jar if you pull too much out. So as I pull it up, I'm checking it to make sure that I didn't miss any spots. And the bottom of the T is close to the line, so I'm going to add a little bit more on it. Make it a little thicker there and see if I can fix that. So when you're pulling up, it's a good chance to like double take what you just did and make sure if there's any part of any letter that you didn't hit just right. Even did the tongs good. Okay, awesome. Right, so this one's set for the What the Fork. Love it. Keeping this one for myself, sorry. But if anybody wants any, I can make any like that. Or I can do all different kinds of designs. All right, so I'm gonna clean this one off. Sometimes, if you're doing this and you have the different colors, sometimes people want to use different ways to clean the shimmers and the chalk. Clean it the same way, but use like a different towel or a different washcloth or sponge. Just because the shimmers have glitter in them, and glitter gets everywhere. Like when I just fuzzed this transfer before I used it. Alright, oh, this one actually is going pretty long. It's about an hour so far. I have done like 3 projects from scratch, so. But my glue gun was not cooperating the whole time. I need to find a glue gun that has like the longest cord possible. Let's go fuzz from my towel on there. To the side to dry. Without them sticking on each other. And then, they're stuck in my fingers. So as you can see that as they start to dry, they get super sticky again. So, one last transfer that's going on this one. So I've got the Best Family Ever, the What the Fork. Now, this house was clean yesterday. Sorry you missed it. And I know that this is not going to fit all on it. So I'm going to try to do this house was clean yesterday on it. And then do the sorry you missed it up the side. That's the idea of what I'm doing. So hopefully that helps. Wedge those there. A little hot glue going through there. So, move these over here while they dry. No clue what the cats are doing, but they're going running everywhere. Okay. I've used this one several times too. On a little cutting board, because I have those. Alright, so I want to make sure I get yesterday lined up on the bottom, because that's going to hit right at the bottom. I think the top of this is going to hit right towards the top, whether this house was. It's going to be really close. And I could see glitter on my transfer because stencil. Because last time I used this, I used the blue shimmer along with white paste and blue paste and did like a whole design with it. So trying to get all the air bubbles out as much as possible. I'll try to be careful when I do it. And probably should have done the sorry you missed it first. That's alright. So, anybody have any opinions to color? I did orange with that one, so we kind of want them to go together. The room is yellow. Trying to figure out which ones I want to use. Sorry, it's taking me a while. Alright, so I'll use papaya on that one. I want to use something different. Could just use my blacker Tide. Got my Tide in here. here's one of my colors. And then I want a little bit of a faded color. I'll just use the black. So I'm going to do This House Was Clean Yesterday in black, and then I'm going to do in Tide, the Sorry You Missed It, on the side on a different angle to have that stand out a little bit more. Okay, foam seal stays inside. Move this over here out the way. And grab my little... I'm sticking with the small mini squeegee just because these boards, I want to get as close as I can to it. Because when the boards meet together, they're not perfectly together, obviously. So I need to kind of like adjust it with my finger as I go along. And just covering it up and scraping off the excess. So if anybody's tried this stuff before, let me know if you liked it or what you thought. Or if you have an opinion on colors I'm using. Colors are the hardest thing for me to pick out when I'm doing these, honestly. It was easier when I had just a few colors, but now I have like almost all the colors. So it just makes it a little more difficult. But my business page does have more information about them and like little sample kits you can get and try, and anybody who catches my lives and shares them gets entered in a weekly drawing. And I always joke about this transfer because it says the house was clean yesterday, sorry you missed it. Honestly, it could say this house was clean 5 minutes ago. Sorry you missed it. Because it seems like as soon as you clean the house, it gets dirty. And working from home most of the past year, the house seems to be dirtier the more time you spend in it. I have no idea why. I always thought, oh, well, working from home, the house is going to be spotless. Because there's no driving time to work or from work. No, it's more of a mess than ever. And all my new craft supplies, of course. And this is what I'm going to have to be really careful when I pull it up. Let's see, one of the cats are under the table. Just to make sure that I hit all the letters that you can read it clearly. Because some of them are right on the edge of the wood pieces. Hey Alice. You see a gray cat, that's Alice. Black cat is Lucy. She's the one that was crying earlier. No reason, I don't know why. Although Alice prefers that I open the door and let her out, even though she has a cat door that she can go in and out all she wants, whenever she wants, day and night. She prefers I open the door for her. Alice, please don't knock things over. So, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my god, I have this little wooden turtle and she can't figure it out. I've had it forever. She's 2. She just turned 2 on Monday. She's just now messing with it. Oh, and it's sitting on hair ties. Because I moved the bookshelf that the turtle is on and put it on top of the shelf. And I realized underneath it, because Alice has little hoards all over the house. And I thought I was going crazy at first when all my hair ties were disappearing. Because, you know, hair ties and chapstick, those disappear all the time. It was unusually until I caught her with one of her mouths. She has little hoards. In her hoard, she has my hair ties, cat toys, bows, Christmas ornaments. Yes, I found a Christmas ornament. She hides them. All right. So this obviously, the black is going to stay in the transfer. Not super worried about it. Staying the transfer doesn't hurt anything. It just doesn't look the nice, pretty color it is new. But it's still, as long as the silkscreen area gets cleaned, you're golden. Hey everyone, feel free to hit like or share. You can see the 2 projects I did, and the 3rd one I'm finishing now for this house was cleaned yesterday. And then the side is going to be sorry you missed it. So before I clean it off, I'm going to go ahead and do the sorry you missed it on the side. I'm actually going to kind of set it on this so that this doesn't hurt what's already on it. So I'm just basically kind of setting it back on its backer temporarily, and then I'll clean it afterwards. Alright, so got that. Let's see if I can do this without. So this is pretty much just touching 2 boards. I'll try it a little bit of an angle. What? That's not, 4's not helping too much. I hear you. I have no idea why you're crying. You're free to go in and out all you want. You've got your little door. I cut you a cat door in the door. Alright. I did that and I haven't opened my paste yet. Alright, let's quickly open my paste. Squeegee, which I cleaned. So this will be my last thing, and I should be done after this. So this one I'm just doing the 1 line. It only has 1 little wood piece. It's 2 wood pieces it's covering, so not as many bumps as the other part. So check it out as I pull it up, make sure I hit all the letters good. Don't make it a huge mess, hopefully. There you go. Alright. Well, I should have done sorry you missed it like in a red, huh? But I can always put the transfer over it and do it and make it look like a block letter layer. There's that one. Put the excess back in my jar. And because this has got so much black on it, I'm going to let the water sit on it for a minute and really start to loosen up that top paste. That should really help it. While I clean up this. And that's pretty much it for my 3 projects. I don't know if you guys can't really see this one that well, huh? So in between the 2 are, I redid the little cutting board. Is it okay? I don't think it's okay. So I redid the little cutting board so that it, I didn't like the saying that was on it. So if you can see the little white one, that's the saying that came on it. And I got it for Dollar General. And I fixed it up the way that I wanted it so it can hang in my kitchen with one of the little sassy kitchen sayings on it. Anybody have any questions before I'm just finishing cleaning up for the night? And my life is like an hour. It's usually not that long. Ooh, make sure these don't all sticky. These are pretty much back to their stickiness, so I can stick them right back on their backers. They're dry now. Then I can at least get them out of my way. When you go to put them back on their backers so that you can reuse them over and over again, they're never going to go back on their backers exactly the way that you took them off. Oh, it looks like I still have some orange in this one. Alright, so I'm just going to let water sit on that too. Because usually, like I said, I have them in my water bucket. So I'm just going to let it sit on there for a little long, keep it wet. And that'll help me clean them when it comes time. And that one is... Alright, if nobody really has any questions, I'm going to sign off. Be sure to like the page, check out my business page. I have lots of other videos, and so you don't have to actually sit and watch them. You can actually kind of like skip through and see what I've done on the different projects. Okay, all right. Everybody have a good Tuesday night. It's been really nice here in like in 50s, 60s. But we got a notice we may get a couple inches of snow tonight. I have no idea why. It's weird. The lawns need to be mowed at this point, and it's mid-April. All right, everybody, good night. Have fun. Whatever you're doing. Like, comment, and share. Thanks. Bye.